Hello, everyone. Welcome to day 3 of Reinvent Yourself 3-day workshop. We are in our final day. Hello, hello, hello. I'm going to share this in a few places. Let me find myself here first. Aren't we all trying to find ourselves? Get some water, and then I'm going to share this to a few places. Maybe people will see that I'm going live. And if you want to be able to catch my lives, make sure you are following me on my Facebook business page, Catherine Massell, Ascending Earth Creatrix, and you will get notifications when I go live and do these little talks. Hi, Angela. Hello, hello. Make sure I'm sharing this in the right place. There we go. Today is our final day of our workshop. But it doesn't have to be the final day you work with me. Hi, Sandy. Hi, Svetlana. Hello, ladies. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Glad to have you here live with me. It doesn't have to be the last day we work together. My signature course, Become the Creatrix, which is just, this is a little taste of what is offered to you in Become the Creatrix. That starts February 7th. We have, if you haven't been paying attention, promotional pricing on that course for $12.50, only available until tomorrow. It goes away 9 p.m. Pacific time, Sunday, January 27th. Never to be seen again. That price will never be seen again. I make that solemn promise to you now, because this is my signature course going forward. When that promotional price ends tomorrow night, it goes up to $17.50, so you get the chance to save $500 on this now, this 6-week powerful container of transformation. If self-reinvention is what you are after, hi Suzanne, hi lovely. If self-reinvention is what you are after, then this course is for you. This will be my signature offering going forward. When I offer this again in April, it's going to be $2,000. So getting in on this workshop, sitting in on this, it's probably fated. You are probably destined to be here because you're probably destined to get in the Become the Creatrix course. What is unique about Become the Creatrix is, we're all after, change and transformation. A lot of things are shifting. A lot of things are moving. We're, as I talked about in day 1, a lot of momentum is carrying this wave of change, this momentum that's happening. This current is flowing already. We need to be brave and courageous enough to jump into this wave of change and be able to change ourselves, be able to move away from our familiar past and everything, especially that emotion that we released yesterday, that we identified, we defined, right? That emotion that keeps us rooted in, anchored into the past self, and is literally keeping us in limitation. Because as long as we are rooted into that consciousness, we are rooted into survival mode consciousness, we are rooted into that limiting emotion, we are not in the right vibration, the right frequency to jump in on this wave of transformation and change that's already taking place, and to be able to transform ourselves into that highest ideal version of ourselves that we desire to be. Hi, Heather. So if you want the tools to do that, what is unique about Become the Creatrix is not only do you get actual steps, you get a plan. There is a very well planned out set of steps that you need to follow to unbecome the old you, to literally unhook all the wiring, to disconnect all the firing of those old emotions that are keeping you being the old you, and giving you the template, the foundation, to build that highest ideal version of self that you so desire to be. And what is really unique about this course is that, sometimes you go into a course with great transformation with coaches or mentors, and it's wonderful while you're in the course. And then we end up going back to the way we used to be. What you're going to understand in this course is why you go back to that way that is your familiar past, that way that is so comfortable, that way of being that is so familiar to you, because of the hard wiring you have within you to be that person. You understand why that is, and why that keeps pulling you back like a bungee cord to your old reality. You understand how to break with that, and you understand how to build a new reality that is so much stronger, so much greater than the old you, that you are creating a whole new personal reality, a whole new personality and identity for yourself that is not reminiscent of your past. And with these steps, you learn how to keep it that way. You learn how to sustain this level of change. Now that alone is worth the price of this course. And if you've worked with me before, you know what kind of transformation we've had in packages that were $300, $500. This is not only worth every single penny of this investment, but what it will do is carry you forth and enabling you to sustain this level of change and to build on it going forward. Meaning you can use this rinse and repeat set of steps, this plan that I share with you, to keep scaling up, to keep upgrading your level of life, your abundance threshold, your money threshold, your ability to embrace change and move through it gracefully and with a sense of joy. This is a powerful container of transformation. This is going to be one of the only ways to work with me going forth because this is my signature program. What I'm after in terms of who I am as a coach, my mission, my purpose is to give women the tools to create long-term transformation. Because for me, that's what the ascension process is really about. Having our human awakening process fully catch up with our spiritual awakening. We're already spirit beings. We're already awake. What we need to do is wake up as humans. We need to wake up our humanness. We need to evolve the timeline of our humanness to match our level of spiritual awakening. Many of us don't know how to do this. This is what I'm sharing with you in this course. And it is only available at this $500 off promo price until tomorrow night, Sunday at 9 p.m. Pacific time. After that, it goes up to $1,750. When I offer it again in April, it will be $1,999. So get in on this now. If you want to work with me in the most intimate and exclusive signature container transformation, this is it, okay? That being said, if you signed up for my email, I have a little gift in store for you guys that's going to help with what we're talking about here today in day 3. So if you are signed up for my email, and as of this time it is about noon, Saturday, January 26th, if you are signed up for my email already, you are going to get this little bonus exercise that I'm going to share with you, embodying true self-possession. Remember I said in the last couple days how much I love that word self-possession. I'm going to give you an exercise to help you embody that. This comes as a gift from one of my favorite warrior goddesses to work with, Goddess Sekhmet. This was part of a channel transmission that came in my Ascended Feminine Initiation course that I taught in the middle of last year. And this is something I'm going to share with you as a free bonus that will really help you take the work that if you showed up here all 3 of these days for the workshop, you already are experiencing some shifts. You're already having your perception kind of shift and move a little bit. That's a good thing. So talk about creating momentum. This is an exercise that will help you to create a way to anchor this momentum and embody the sense of self-possession, meaning I am me. I am me. There is no gap between the me, the true me that lives in here, and the me that I show to the rest of the world. That is embodying true self-possession. You want to learn how to do that? Make sure you go to my email list right now and sign up and get that. Because if you're not signed up by the time I do this this replay and send out all 3 days of replay to my email list, for those who have signed up already, it will have that bonus exercise embodying true self-possession in there. If you're not signed up by later this afternoon to get that, you're just not going to get it. So bonuses of being here live, right? If you don't want to, if you're watching this in the replay, I'm sorry if you didn't catch it, but that is your cue to sign up for my email so that when I offer these free workshops again, and I always over-deliver, I always give free content, make sure you're signed up so you don't miss out on this again, okay? Go to catherinemissel.com. Right on my homepage, you scroll all the way down to the bottom. There is an email list sign up, or if you're on the homepage for like 4 seconds, you'll have a pop-up, and you can just sign up to the email list there. Okay, that stuff out of the way. So, hi everybody. I used to be so uncomfortable with selling my packages, but I'll tell you what, this container of transformation is so powerful, it's so wonderful, it's the easiest thing to talk about and to be able to communicate the value of, because it is so powerful, because I have worked with this with women one-on-one before over the summer. I saw amazing transformations with the women that I worked with one-on-one, some of them clearing chronic conditions, some of them hitting the $1 million mark in their business. One lady hit the $1 million mark in her business using these steps that I'm talking about in this program in Become the Creatrix. And she still uses these steps because she continued to use them after the work that we did together was completed. She continued to implement these steps, to do the steps, to be diligent, to be dedicated and committed, because you've got to be dedicated and committed to do this work, because it takes practice to rewire a new you. You're going against old patterning that's taken, more than a few decades to get into place. So if you're not dedicated and committed with this stuff and showing up every day to create this change, it's just not going to happen, or it's not going to happen in the way that you envision it to be, okay? So, hi, Olivia. It is fantastic, Angela. It is very, very fantastic. That's going to be the signature way to work with me going forward. Hopefully, it will be something that I'm going to create a bigger brand around. That's all part of my vision for 2019. But I really want to help a lot of women create the transformation they're looking for. And not just the transformation that happens and then they finish with the course and it's over. I want to give them tools to help them sustain upgraded levels of transformation over and over and over again, a rinse and repeat process, because that's what we need. We need the steps. We need to know how to create transformation and sustain it, yes? Not just some nebulous idea or concept of it. So that's what I'm giving you in this course. And I'm super excited to teach it. I'm already teaching one round of this right now, but it's called something different. And it's really wonderful to see how women are just dedicated to this level of change. They're committed to just saying, you know what, no more. I can't be this way anymore. And remember in day one, I talked about how we as a collective, we are changing the paradigm of, we're shifting power. We're shifting the idea of what balance really is. We're doing this because there's such drive, there's such momentum in the female collective to create change, because what has been happening is very unsatisfying. Not just for women, for men too. Men have been underserved by the power paradigm that's in place, just as much as women. Maybe women a little more underserved, but we are here to shift the balance now, and that only happens when we step up in true self-possession, we step up in empowerment, we step up with a sense of commitment to create change that is positive, not just for ourselves, but for all of humanity. And as women, that is our charge. But how do we bring that energy forth as a collective? It has to start on an individual level. It has to start with you, Angela, with you, Olivia, who else is here, with you, Svetlana, saying, you know what, no more. And the way I create this change for the collective going forth is I start changing this with me. With me. It starts with you. It starts with you, Heather. It starts with you, Sandy. Okay? You get what I'm saying? Give me some hearts if this sounds great and I'm pumping you up, because this is where we're at. This is our invitation from the universe. This is our petition now as women to step up and step into power, but be able to not only know how to wield power in the most highest altruistic way, but to be a beacon of light so that we can show others how to do it as well. Yes? And that means taking control of our inner reality. You can't start with this process without taking it from the inside first and then rippling it outward. It has to start with rewiring, first of all, unwiring your old reality, deprogramming the old you, and then building a new foundation. And this starts from in here. It can't start from anywhere else. It can't start in your outer reality. And that's why many of us, have a lot of trouble with creating and sustaining change in our lives and transformation. We think that it's something that has to shift in our outer world, when really everything that's happening in our outer world is only there because our inner reality has created that to be so. Okay? And we are more powerful now as manifestors than we have ever been, because we have a better understanding now of what that means, of what energy means, of what frequency means, of what vibration means, being able to match vibrations, match frequencies, to be able to hold and sustain an energy within us, and how that creates the nature of our physical reality in our outer environment. We have a better understanding of that now, better than we ever have. Well, maybe not in terms of when we were less dense beings and we were Atlantean or Lemurian, but as far as the human beingness of ourselves goes, our timeline of being able to understand this stuff as humans, We are at this wonderful point in history where we are shifting so many paradigms. We're shifting out of so many old timelines that can't support the energies that we're becoming. Hi, Diana. Hello. So this is a very exciting time for us. But what does that mean for us going forward? So in day one, we talked about, the power of the collective, the force, the momentum, this current that's already flowing of change, and how to jump into that with intentionality. How do we already grab that energy that's already at play, take some of it for ourselves, move with the flow, the current, the momentum of that, and take it with our own intentionality and use that as a tool, implement it to create the long-term transformation we wish to see, not only for ourselves, but what kind of planet do you want to be living on? What kind of people do you want to see yourself surrounded by? The only way to start shifting that is to start moving that, shifting that, creating a different perspective and level of perception within yourself. That's the only way this ever starts, okay? It has to start on an individual level. So in day one, I asked you to think about that a little bit more. If you haven't watched the replays, they are on my YouTube channel. If you're not signed up to my email, I will send you all 3 days of replays later this afternoon with the bonus exercise. So make sure you sign up now, because if you don't sign up for the email list now, here, live, when I send out the replays this afternoon with this bonus exercise, that's it. You're not going to be able to get that bonus exercise, okay? In day two, we talked about, which is also available as a replay on my YouTube channel. It's just at Catherine Massell. It's also going to be on my podcast very soon, The Abundant Intuitive. So you can listen on audio if that's easier for some of you. But in day two, I gave you a real important task, which is to look at that core emotion that you're holding on to, that one feeling that keeps you rooted in a way of being so that you are bringing your past into your present and into your future every single day going forth. If you had to name that emotion, because you do need to give it a name, in order to clear it and release it, you need to give that emotion a name. What is that one thing, looking at, let's just say, the painful events or experiences in your life that seem to keep happening over and over again, to the point where it's just like, really, this again? There is one core emotion that is driving that. What is it? I asked you in day two to name that. And then we cleared it. So if you didn't listen to day two was really fiery. Day one was fiery too, but day two was really fiery because we kind of took action steps to release and clear. And we connected with Mother Creatrix energy to do that. And that, for some of you, is really powerful. I've had some really nice comments on my YouTube channel from people who listened to the replay and were able to release into this void using Mother Creatrix energy. And one lady was like, oh my God, tears. It feels so wonderful. It feels so good to release that. Yes, you know why it feels so good to release that? Because it is shackling you to a way of limitation, an old way of being that no longer resonates with where you are going, with what you are doing now, what you are becoming, and what you are destined to be as a more evolved, awakened human being. That's why it feels so good to get rid of it. So if you didn't listen to day two, please go back and listen to that. And then I invited you on day one to actually start your day in creation mode. And if you don't really understand still the difference between being in survival mode consciousness and creator mode consciousness, well, I'll just go and share it here. I do a whole live where I talk about that. It's on my YouTube channel, and I can give you the link, because it's really important to understand that many of us feel like our lives are blowing up, like we don't even recognize who we are in our world anymore. We don't feel rooted. We don't feel grounded into our way of being. So many things have fallen away, and it makes us feel like we're kind of losing hold on reality. It makes us feel very confused, very overwhelmed. And it puts us into more of that crisis mode, like we're putting out fires. That's survival mode consciousness. Like, I just need to get through this day. I just need to get through this hour. I just need to get through this week. We are living our lives with this level of consciousness. So when the universe steps in and says, you know what, you're becoming this whole different person, so this old way of being has to blow up. If you're not willing to do it for yourself, we're going to help you out with that. So it may feel like the universe doesn't have your back. The universe is actually helping you, because it's providing you with a lesson that you really need to see and anchor into, and finally admit, like, yes, I need to learn this about myself. Yes, I need to accept that this is who I am, but it's not who I desire to be going forward. And the universe will give you a way to kind of look at that. The universe will set you up with an opportunity, an event, an experience, a person that helps you learn that valuable lesson that is only going to usher you further into your soul's growth. Okay? But when that happens, if we don't understand why this is happening, we just think the universe doesn't have our back and is a big bully, we just enter into more survival mode consciousness. Instead of going into that place where we kind of stop, pull back the lens, what I call the goddess eye perspective, pull back the lens on all the moving parts of our lives, and we get to look at it with an objective observer point of view, meaning we're not subject to all the feelings and reliving the situation or the pain. We can objectively look back. Then we move out of, even if it's just for a second, we move out of survival mode consciousness. And we're able to see our lives as, this is limiting me, that is limiting me, holding on to this feeling is holding me back. Holding on to this event, this experience, this inability to forgive someone or myself, it's holding me back. It's only when we can pull back into that goddess eye perspective, which is also the creative state, that we're able to see this for the limitation, the lack, the survival mode way of living that it is. Okay? But many of us don't allow ourselves to go into this perspective, so what do? We say our lives have blown up, so I got to put it back together again. And so you're putting it back together with the same frame of mind that made it have to blow up in the first place. You're trying to put the pieces of your life back together from the same level of survival mode consciousness. Guess what's going to happen? Guess what is a predictable destiny for you at that point? Shit's going to just blow up again. And maybe even a more colossal, wonderful, like truly monolithic way, where it's just like this amazing implosion of your life where everything has to shift and change. It is because you've probably continually resisted that level of change in the first place. So everything has kind of blocked up so much. I mean, think of it as like, because this happened to me last week. I was vacuuming. I have a dog who sheds a lot, and I was vacuuming my house. Those of you who don't know me, you know I love to tell stories when I'm talking about this stuff. So I was vacuuming my house, and I have one of those, it's supposed to be a green vacuum cleaner, but it still has like a vacuum cleaner bag that is the receptacle for all the junk and the muck that I vacuum up. And so the bag was full, and what it did, it caused a backup in the vacuum hose. And so I noticed that the vacuum wasn't sucking up as well as it should be, so I stopped the vacuum, and the second I opened the vessel, the little container that holds the bag for the vacuum, dust blew up everywhere. It got all over the couch, it got all over my face, it got all over my clothes. My dog was there, and he's like, ooh. And it was really kind of funny to me at the moment. It created a horrible mess. But this is kind of the predictable destiny that we create for ourselves if we don't pull back on this perspective and look at our lives and see all the moving parts and see it for what it is and can admit to ourselves what we're doing to ourselves. There's one thing I think I mentioned the other day, is that there's nothing worse, really, when it comes to a moment of reckoning or a moment of self-realization. There's nothing worse than realizing that the only thing that has held us back in our lives thus far is us. You can't blame it on anybody else. You can't put the burden on anyone's shoulders. The reason you've been in limitation or lack has been you. Because you're not willing to let go of this emotion. You're not willing to let go of this event. Hi, Benita. You're not willing to let go of this person that you've known, let's just say, for a long time. This person is not with you on your journey. And so we, again, hold on to these things out of a sense of survival because we are so tethered to this way of being. We are so addicted to a way of being. But what it does is it keeps us living in our familiar past. And when we are in that consciousness, that energy frequency, we are not in an energy frequency of change or transformation. So mentally we're saying, this has got to change. This has got to shift. I got to move this. We have a New Year's resolution. You say, I can't keep living this way. I can't do this. Meanwhile, you don't understand. Your body is programmed to be this old way of being. And until you go in and redirect that and reprogram that, good luck. You can have resolutions till the cows come home. But you're just going to go back to that predictable way of being until you sever this connection to the old you. Until you unbecome the old you. So what I asked you to do in day 2 is to release this emotion. So how do we take this a little bit further? How do we move this along a little bit further? I want you to think of long-term transformation in this way. That it's not a one and done deal. That you shift things, you move into this place of, okay, I feel more at peace with my life. I feel more at peace with who I am. I know who I am. I know where I sabotage myself. I know where I can be triggered in my outer environment by an event, an experience, a person to go back to an old way of thinking. And I know where to look for those pitfalls now so I don't get myself in those situations. And I know how to stop this cascade process of becoming the old me again, because I know how to stop this feeling, or I know how to stop this thought. I know how to stop this behavior. You get really good at knowing how to do this and become the creatrix, by the way, because you have all the tools. You have all the awareness, okay? That level of awareness is probably worth the price of the course. But how do you sustain that? How do you keep it going? Well, one tool that I shared with you yesterday was the 7 levels deep exercise. The 7 levels deep exercise lets you really get to the core why of why you want this change in the first place. Why do you want to transform? This person that maybe only, at this point in the workshop, you have a vague idea of who you want to be. Maybe you're starting to put it together, kind of piece together the details and the specifics of this ideal person you want to be, this highest ideal version of you. Maybe you're starting to get a vision and better yet a feeling of her, and that's wonderful. Keep doing that, keep building on that. And we work on that very deeply and become the creatrix. But how do you just keep becoming more of her? Let's just say, you finish doing this level of transformation, you feel more at peace with yourself, you feel like a more profound sense of expansion, you feel connected to the world that you live in. You don't feel stretched and pulled thin anymore like you have for maybe decades of your life. You feel in control of your inner reality. You're in control of your emotions, you're in control of your thoughts, you're in control of your behaviors. How do you sustain that? Getting to your deeper why is the first step in being able to sustain that. So if you go back and watch the replay from day 2, I share the link for the 7 levels deep exercise. Hi Karen, welcome. And the 7 levels deep exercise helps you to keep asking yourself why. So whatever it is that you're trying to create in your life, let's just say, you want this new job. You're up for a promotion, you're up for a new job, whatever that is, why do you want it? Okay. So when you go through the first layers of 7 levels deep, you're answering from your head. You're answering from the intellect. You're answering from the conscious mind, okay? But when you get to the deeper levels, like 6 and 7, sometimes you can even go beyond and go 8 or 9 levels deep to get to your deeper why. Do what you got to do, whatever it takes. You start answering from here. That deeper why of why you want to do anything, why you have intentionality for anything, why you have a desire, why you have a goal for anything. If you don't know your deeper why for doing it, good luck sustaining that level of change. Because creating transformation involves you knowing why you want to do it, but not the why that the intellectual reasoning says. The why that comes from the heart. Because the why is always linked to your truer purpose. The why is always linked to that higher intelligence that lives within you and drives you. Even though it feels like you're not being driven by the higher intelligence, that's because it's buried under layers and layers of ego conditioning from years, decades sometimes. But that deeper why that comes from here, when life throws interesting events and experiences at you that derail you from your vision, from that momentum that you're creating in your life, to create long-term, sustained, up-leveled, upgraded transformation, where you keep scaling up and becoming even more of the you, that highest ideal version of you. Life's going to throw stuff at you. That's life, right? We have a lot of drama and chaos here in 3D. It's just the nature of the beast. But how good are you at maintaining this inner reality that you are the perfect custodian of, that you are the master of? How good are you at being the master of your thoughts and your feelings instead of being a servant to them? Your why is what helps you. It gives you that push to be that master of your inner reality. to be the master of your domain, to be the queen of your realm. So go back to that exercise if you didn't, and really give it your time and attention. If you know what you're wanting to create, if you're really clear about what you're wanting to create, just take that into this space, do the 7 levels deep exercise, give yourself like 20 minutes to do that. And if you want to take it even further, give yourself another 10 or 15 minutes to kind of do some automatic writing, some journaling about that, to kind of make it stick and make you realize why this purpose is driving you forward, that deeper why. Because that momentum will get you through those hard times, those lean times where you're being tested, where you feel like the universe doesn't have your back, or you feel like everything's kind of falling down around your ears. If your why is so powerful, it creates this immovable force within you so that nothing in your outer reality can shift you from that. Really powerful. And then the next part of sustaining this in the long term is understanding, like, not just who you want to be now. When I work with the ladies on this level, and I've worked with them on, at a one-on-one level, I get to kind of really get in there with them and find out, okay, well, who is this person that you desire to be? But think beyond, who do you want to just be now? If you could become this woman in let's just say a week, that's wonderful. But what happens in 2 years from now? Who is she then? What happens in a decade from now? Who is she then? What happens in 40 years from now? Who is she then? Okay? We need to be having, something that we strive towards. And it's not like you have to be as clear in all the details and specific in all the details as much as you would be in doing the transformation of, I'm becoming this woman now, meaning I want to be this woman next week. But when you're thinking about 5, 10, 20, 40 years down the road, you need to have an idea of how that person is going to feel when she wakes up every day. What kind of attributes, altruistic personality traits does she have and continues to have 5, 10, 20, 40 years down the line? Think in terms of feeling, okay? So I'm going to read you something to give you an idea. So when you're creating this ideal self, it's good to have an idea of, what do you want her to feel like? If you're becoming this highest ideal version of you, get an idea of like the things that she's holding on to as an emotional being that, yes, negate that old way of being, but are so profound, so much greater than your old way of being, that they really outshine all of that. Because the emotions are everything. Because as human beings, wouldn't you say that that's one of those defining characteristics of human beings, is our emotion? Because our emotion allows us to connect with who we are. It allows us to be a somebody. It gives us identity. It gives us personality. We frame our worldview on our emotions. Attitudes, moods, all based on emotion. We are emotional beings. So when you connect with, number one, like I invited you to and walked you through in day 2, to connect with that emotion that's anchoring you to your past and keeping you in limitation, it is just as important to anchor into those emotions that you want to embody going forward. Okay, so I'm going to read you some of mine. And when I go into this meditative space, my creative space, because I go into this creative state every single day, and you will too if you're in Become the Creatrix, you learn how to get into these emotions and feel them. Because the body doesn't know any different between you imagining this feeling and then the body kind of follows suit, or if it's really happening, if there's some external event in your world happening to trigger that emotion. We can bring these emotions on within ourselves at any kind of thought, at any kind of impulse that we create. That's when you know that you're the master of your reality, and you can become that. We access quantum levels of being, infinite potentials of ways of being through emotions. Think about that. Because if you can feel it, it can be. Because that's where the body catches up on a quantum level to what we're doing with that quantum field of mind, where we're creating this thought, maybe this idea. We're imagining something in our mind that creates a feeling in the body. That's how we evolve our state of being. That's how we become more ascended. We have to bring the body along as we ascend. Yes, it is becoming less dense on a cellular level. Structurally, we're becoming less dense as we become more light beings. But there is a process that we don't just become this. We have to bring the body along, and the way we do that is with emotions. And if you don't know how to do this, it's going to be a very difficult and painful process for you to understand that the ascension process is not just about doing a bunch of spiritual healings and having a Kundalini awakening and doing spiritual activations, energy alignments. That's only part of the ascension process that is the spiritual part. There is a body and human part of our ascension process, a human awakening process that has to take hold for us to truly ascend. Please understand this. It's going to be painful for you if you don't understand this, okay? And you're going to fight those old emotions. You're going to pretend they don't exist. You're going to shove them down, like that game at the carnival, whack-a-mole. Hi, Patrice. Hi, Jen. So I want to read you some of these emotions that might resonate with you, or things that you want to anchor into, okay? Loving kindness. That's what I really want to embody. Compassion. I know that is one of the things that I'm here in this lifetime to work on, is compassion. Less judgmental. Another thing I'm meant here to be here to work on in this lifetime. Confident. Good boundaries. Good, healthy boundaries. Good, healthy boundaries should be firm, yet kind of flexible. Okay? So there's always exceptions to everything, right? To command respect. That's what I want. Feeling supported financially. Feeling financially prosperous. Feeling safe, right? Feeling safe and secure. Yeah, exactly, Patrice. You know, right? Inspired, creative, powerful, strong-willed. I've always been kind of strong-willed, but I want to keep that going. But I want to have a more altruistic expression of that, meaning I want to express that in the highest and best way possible for myself and for all. Innovative. I love innovating. I'm in soul language speak. If you don't know about soul language, I have a book that I can show you on it. But there's a lady, Jennifer Arezzo, who created this modality called soul language. And it's literally how your soul speaks, how it shows up in this world, and there are different aspects of that. I'm a passage creator, which makes perfect sense to me. I like to create new passageways, new conduits for people to not only understand the way of being that we are becoming and what's happening in the world, the ascension process and all that. I provide a lot of passageways for people to understand that. That's why I create the courses that I do, because I look at them as passageways for becoming the highest and best versions of ourselves. So it is important for me to be innovative, so I can keep creating those new passageways. That involves creativity and inspiration, right? Being alert. Being alert means, for me, being grounded, because a lot of the time I have to work on being grounded. And so being alert, meaning alert to what's going on, listening. I want to be a better listener, okay? I want to be more tuned into the present. That's a really big thing for me. It should be a big thing for all of us. Healthy, easygoing, expectant without a sense of desperation, expectant without urgency. And many of us who are stuck and rooted in survival mode consciousness, we're constantly in this state of urgency, desperation, like, you know, I didn't think about this for the last 3 weeks, and now I have to think about it, and I have to do this now, right? Urgency, desperation, ugh. I want to get away from that. Hi, Jennifer. Having more abundance flow in. Just more abundant. Worthy. Deserving. Allowing. Okay? Allowing. Receiving. I give a lot. I give a lot. But it's important for all of us, especially as women, to allow ourselves to receive as much as we give. Okay? Because this is part of the power paradigm shift as well. If we don't step up and embody our self-possession truly, we're not really able to balance the level of giving and receiving. That creates an imbalance in the world. It creates a major shift, okay? And not a happy one. Appreciating. I want to be more appreciative. Grateful. Grateful. I want to be more grateful. And these are all things, by the way, that I mentioned, like when I think of the long-term me that I'm creating, a sustained level of transformation that I keep want to stepping up into higher levels of experiencing this, 5, 10, 20 years, 40 years down the line, all of these things fit the bill for me. It's the feeling, okay? Caring. Happy. Hello, happy. Carefree. Candid. I used to be very closed off. You wouldn't know it by watching my lives now, but I am an extroverted introvert, basically. But I am very guarded. I have been very, very guarded for a long time. 10 years ago even, you would not, and there's my mom showing up, and she can corroborate this. You can validate this, right, Mom? 10 years ago, would you have imagined me going live and being this like candid and open and putting all my stuff out there? No. And probably no one knows me better than my mom, okay? Happy, carefree, open, candid, funny, okay? Being able to laugh at myself, not take things so seriously, okay? Not everything is me having to put out fires. Not everything is super crisis management mode. Not everything is like do or die, right? And I did live my life that way for a long time. Easygoing, okay? That fits the bill with that too. Wise. Healthy, wealthy, and wise. Yes. Joyful. Engaging in better self-care, right, Patrice? Patrice has the Body Wealth System, which is all about self-care. Amazing program, by the way. You should check that out, Patrice. For Patrice Hutton-Jones here. Being a thought leader, that's really important for me. But not just being a thought leader and just putting stuff out there that doesn't mean anything. Being a thought leader in the most altruistic way possible. Being a thought leader that allows as much as humanity as possible to be able to resonate with what I'm saying so that they can be lifted up. That kind of thought leader, okay? Charitable. I tie the portion of my income that I make every month to charitable organizations that I like. It changes all the time. It could be veterans organizations. It could be hospice, which I also volunteer for hospice, so I put myself in that position of giving of my time, not just my money. Giving to wolf recovery in the lower 48 states and in Canada. I give money to that. It depends. Being charitable. To me, being wealthy means the same as being spiritual. Being spiritual and being wealthy are the same thing for me because I can give more if I have the support that I need, the security that I need to get me through my life. If I'm all set there, then I have more than enough to give. And the more you give, the more you allow yourself to actually open up yourself to receive, because money has to have a flow. Money does not stagnate. Money moves. So we need to be able to move it. And I like to be in a place where I can move it, okay? Accepting, understanding. And I mentioned listening, being a better listener. Being a way shower of a new reality. I want to keep doing that. I want to do this 40 years from now. To be honest, I just turned 47. I plan on doing this when I'm 87. So for another 40 years, I want to still be stepping into this, being a way shower of a new reality. I want to be fit and healthy in body and mind, okay? I want to be self-possessed. I want to be courageous. I want to be brave. I want to be brave. I want to do things that, you know, scare me a little but excite me a lot, okay? That for me is being brave. I want to be self-assured, you know. That to me is the opposite of self-doubt. I had a lot of self-doubt for a long time. So this is just some of the things that I practice when I go into this meditative creative state every single day. I start my day this way. I go into feeling these emotions. I just call them out. I speak them out. I speak them out into the void because I work with the Mother Creatrix, and so that's the realm of pure creation. It's also the higher intelligence that runs as a current within you. I connect with this and I speak these words out loud, and then I feel the feelings of them every day. So this becomes every day my highest ideal version of self that I am embodying now. And I want to keep that going. I want to keep that going for 10, 20, 40 years down the line. So this concludes our talk. I want to thank you guys for being in this workshop. I think I might do this once a month because the Reinvent Yourself workshop has been, a lot of people have been very interested in it. A lot of people are catching the replays. A lot of people sign up to my email to to catch this. A lot of you signed up to watch it live, which has been amazing, and thank you for being here live. If you've been here all 3 days, I want to thank you for doing that. I really appreciate your support and you being here. And give me some hearts if you have been here over the 3 days, or even just today. Give me some hearts if this has given you a perspective shift, if this has elevated you or inspired you or made you feel more creative, made you feel more dedicated to the change that you wish to see. Give me some hearts on that. Yeah, I like it, I like it, I like it. If you haven't listened to the replays, and if you did join late, go to catherineMassell.com and sign up on my email list now, so you get all 3 days of these replays sent to your inbox, along with the bonus embodying self-possession exercise that I'm going to share with you. If you're not signed up on my email list, you're not going to get it. It just goes away. So that's the bonus of showing up and watching these here live with me. I like to reward my people who come and show up live. What can I say? And if you want to make sure that you don't miss out on an opportunity like this next time, go ahead and sign up for my email list and you won't miss out. Okay? And also the Become the Creatrix program, very, very powerful container of transformation. If you have jived with my vibe over the last 3 days and you want to take this to an insane level of transformation, have a very intimate container of transformation where you're working with me in a small group of women. I only open it up to 8 people. So once the spots are gone, they're gone until I do it again in April. This is the program for you. This is my signature offering going forth. There's only going to be a few ways to work with me going forward. This is going to be one of them, along with DNA activation and restructure, which is a one-on-one session, but also as a group course and a great container of transformation, the Wealth Consciousness Collective, okay? It has helped me in many ways. Thank you so much. You're welcome, Heather. Awesome. Thank you so much. Svetlana says you're so welcome. Thank you all for being here. I just got a heart from my mom. That's awesome. She's still here. I love it. One of my biggest supporters. So I want to wish you all so much love and peace. Thank you for being here. Look for that email later on this afternoon, and have a beautiful, beautiful rest of your weekend. Bye-bye.